Good afternoon, and welcome to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Ari Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, the Rebels of Radio is back. We've been gone for a minute, but we in the studio live today, and we got a lot of hot topics we got to get caught up to talk about. But the main topic we're going to talk about today is this law that's being passed. Is considered an act where transgender people who have not fully became the woman or man that they're supposed to are being allowed to go into public bathrooms at different facilities as well as at stores. And so there's a law that has been kicked off in North Carolina to stop that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about current news and events and a lot of other topics that's going on in Chicago. But if you ain't got nothing to do, call a friend, let them know. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Ari Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told, Let the Truth Be Told. I would rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with a lie. See you in a second.
Married to the truth, yeah. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. What? Come on. I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me. Yeah, for me. And I know that you care for me. Yeah, for me. You're always down for me. Down for me. You're always there to pick me up. Just give me back when I'm talking reckless. Because of times when I'm being tested. Man, I'm glad that I'm vested. Without your love, I feel so naked. Without the truth, I feel neglected. Cause at the time when things get hectic, you give me your best and I feel protected. Back in your arms, that's where I'm headed. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Ari Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told.
We just told a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah. First, I want to give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahshua, for making it possible for me to be here, as well as my regular listeners and my new listeners. Let's get this show started. Welcome, my host, Cherry's in the house. What's up, baby?
Hey. How you doing? Good to be back, too.
Man, we've been going
this
for a minute.
Like the first time I was getting ready, like, oh, I'm going to go kick it with Dave.
Yeah. You know, we're going to get right into the show today, and there's a lot we're going to try to cover in this hour. But the first thing that I want to talk about is this transgender situation. The Governor McCrory down in North Carolina, he passed a bill stating that the gay and lesbian community will not be allowed to go into bathrooms that they were not born with their private parts. And so if your birth certificate say, if your birth certificate say, take that from you. If your birth certificate say you was a man, then that's the bathroom you have to go into, opposed to going into a bathroom and not being who you really are. And what I'm saying is this: there's been some a case that we looked up that happened where a gentleman who dressed as a woman went into a female bathroom and assaulted a minor child, which was a female. And so, you know, that's the problem that we're going to have to deal with. And it's really sad. I mean, America has come to a point where we have just lost our total identity to the federal government.
I love the way you put that.
You know,
yeah.
The American people have no say anymore about anything that's going on in their household.
Their person.
I mean, it's a sad situation. That how is it that and folks, I'm going to read an article, a piece of an article that the president of the United States, or President Obama, has stated this. He said last week the Obama administration issued a directive to all the nation's public schools that mandates that the transgender students must be allowed to use the bathroom that correspond with their chosen gender identity. Now, chosen
Ooh, that's something else.
gender identity. And several states have vowed not to comply with the federal government's order. Now, let me put something on your mind. I have a 10-year-old, and I've taken him out of the public school system, and he's in a private school. And the reason why I did that was because in the state of Iowa, they've mandated it that kids in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are being forced to learn about gay and lesbian lifestyle. And so me and my girlfriend decided that that's something that we did not want our son to know about. So we put him in a private school. And now to make matters worse, that you're going to mandate an act that's going to allow boys to go into the girls' bathroom and girls to go into the boys' bathroom. That's a problem. What do you think about that, Cherry?
I think it's bigger than just the surface. You know, it's a lot bigger than just the surface. That's just it's really huge. It's huge. We should have a freedom of choice. You know, we have, but are all of us as a collective centered enough to be, you know, that freedom? You know, of course not, because otherwise that young lady wouldn't have been, that little girl.
She got assaulted.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then you got the whole choice thing, the freedom thing. So no, first of all, they should have what was wrong with it anyway, the way it was? Go girls here, boys there. There's something bigger. When I go beyond all the crap on the surface, there's something bigger below.
Well,
you know?
North Carolina Governor McCrory signed House Bill 2, and it's known as the Public Facilities Private and Security Act. He signed it into law last month. And this legislation mandates that transgender individuals use public restrooms that correspond with their biological sex. And it also prohibits cities in North Carolina from enacting their own non-discriminatory ordinances.
Weren't they kind of doing that anyway, though? If they're feeling female, I'm sure they were using female bathrooms and just went unnoticed. You know what I mean? And if they were feeling like a guy, they went in guys' bathrooms, again, unnoticed. Why are we there's something bigger beneath all that.
Well, you know what I think is that, you know, when they start passing all the gay laws for the marriage and all of that, I think they've taken it a step too far.
What the fact that they're not focused all this energy on the war and stopping that and fossil fuels and, you know, taking care of that situation is one thing. That's enough. But that's one question. Just answer that question. Why are we on this and not that?
But, you know, it's really sad that the federal government has stepped into this situation, and the president is sponsoring and supporting this type of bill that allows men to go into the women's bathroom and women to go into the men's bathroom.
Yeah.
And so that's to me, the American people, and there are a lot of people up in arms about that, because I would have a real serious problem if my son went into a bathroom and he got accosted by a gay person in there.
But that could happen. That could have been, you know, that was a possibility anyway.
Yeah, but
do you understand? Do you get that part, that it was a possibility anyway, without all this mess that's being thrown at us? That was a possibility anyway, and it has happened. We've seen it on video in certain stores.
Yeah, but you know, to make it a law,
exactly.
To force
Why
all
are we
the
pushing all of this what it is, ugliness to the surface? It was a possibility, and it happened anyway. You know, if you want to spend your energy on something, spend it on something that's going to fix something, not make it worse.
And I'm glad you said that, Cherry, because I take a look at, you know, the president has made it comfortable for the transgender people to go into these bathrooms. But why hasn't he made it comfortable for black people who were born black to be comfortable in their own skin?
Okay.
And what I'm saying is,
don't we have bigger issues for Barack Obama to handle in Chicago?
Exactly. That's the point that I'm alluding to, is that look at Chicago. we're the murder capital of not just the states, but of the world. All the problems that we have in the black community and surrounding communities, the suburbs, the lack of economics. I mean, there's got to be more important issues than this that he's not even speaking on. I mean, he's here. He said, "I'm a Chicagoan."
Forced on us too. Step back and take another step back and look. It's being forced on us by the very fact that now it's in the law books. So it's being forced on us. These petty issues are being forced on us.
And it's just so much more that we need to be fighting for.
I don't think it's petty that children get assaulted. That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. But I think the overall story is, I think it's, I want to say unnecessary, but now that they put it in the law books, it should be enforced on us.
Well, I think that with the situation here in Chicago, the violence with all the killings and the way the law is set up to where brothers is going in jail with the mass incarceration piece and those issues like that have come up before him before. And he's made just a song and dance about it. I think he went to one prison when we started talking about the mass incarceration bill that was founded by Bill Clinton and will surely be carried on by Hillary Clinton if she gets to be president. And so it's really sad that that black people are going through this type of thing, but there are solutions to the problems. I feel that black people become self-contained again, like we used to be. I think that we need to start to invest into black businesses. We need to start purchasing like the 54 schools that closed in Chicago, that Rahm Emanuel closed. Black people should have been putting money together and buying those schools because they closed mainly in the black community. And so we could have gotten those schools and start teaching curriculums that black kids could understand.
Did you ever consider putting Zachary in like a homeschool situation instead of, you said, a private school?
Well, that's basically what it is.
So they teach culture.
They teach culture. I mean, they teach what we used to learn about black history, about who we are, where we came from, and I thought that was one of the best things we could have did because, our young people mind is being distorted about who we are. And now that you
distorted, period.
Well, what's really bad is that you add this idea that it's okay for men to be with men and women to be with women.
That's why we have to teach them to be independent thinkers.
Yes. But, if you go into a school that's pushing this type of curriculum, then, that's a problem as well, because you got to figure that young people.
I believe that's our guest.
That's our guest?
I think so.
So
you want to chat and I'll take
the walk? Yeah, you take the walk. I think that what's happening to the family structure is really been a demise to the black families and really all families across the country. I mean, there's white folks who are saying that they don't want their children exposed to a lot of this. And so I think that it's a situation. I think it's a situation to where that the American people are going to have to stand up and start to voice their opinion about these different types of acts and laws that are being passed that are affecting the family structure. It's pretty hard to come home and your kid is going through this gay and lesbian curriculum.
Wow.
And then their hormones at that age are going crazy, and they lose identity of what a man's supposed to do and the role that a woman's supposed to have. So now you're talking about young people who are thinking it's okay because the law's saying it's okay. But
are they going to think that's okay if you're teaching them something better than that?
No, because then that way that they have their own identity, like you say, and it's up to the parent. But a lot of
battles.
It's a huge battle because a lot of the parents who have kids today, they don't see nothing wrong with it. They think that it's the norm, and that's what I want to say. I was talking to some young people a couple of weeks ago. I was at an event, And me and this young man was talking, and I was telling him that all the stuff that's happening now in the black community, the killings and the shootings and the lack of economics and all the bad things that are happening, I was telling them when I was coming up in the 50s and 60s, the civil rights leaders and the pastors came out in droves, and they fought that type of attitude so that our children could understand more about who they are and what responsibilities that they would have in the community. And this young man looked at me like I was speaking Spanish.
I mean, but look around, what's going on with that whole situation right now? I mean, we talked about this, I don't know how many times, about how many churches there are in every black neighborhood, and the give back.
But this kid, it really, struck me to the point where he said that young people today consider all this stuff that's going on as normal. So their thought is it's normal
Oh,
for
wow.
it,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
young people now are saying,
Wow.
okay, the killing by the police and not having nothing, and our communities dying, and the legislators going to jail. They have been conditioned in the mind to think all this is
Actually,
normal for the black community.
I'm glad you said that, because there are alternatives to what we think we see. I mean, because that's just an illusion. I have a guest here. I think I have a guest. Are you with me? Oh, thank you so
Can
very
you turn that
much.
mic on for us, Earl?
Go ahead and give a brief introduction of yourself. This is somebody that I was with last night at what we call a little underground meeting. Go ahead, we can hear you.
My name is Judge Hashay El Bey from the Universal World Court, and I work also with the tribal nations, actually educating our youth on who they are and actually understanding the contract in which they stand on their land, and who are the true beneficiaries and heirs of this land, and who's supposed to receive a benefit, and how you're supposed to do it with the rights and the etiquette that goes behind it.
Well, let me welcome you to the show, Judge. This is Dave Lowry, host of Let the Truth Be Told. It's a pleasure to have you on. Can you talk a little bit about some of the ideas that you have regarding the meeting or your organization trying to put out there?
Well, one thing that we talked about, I'm sorry, Prince, that we talked about last night that was very interesting, that kind of piggybacks off of what he just said. Would you break down the whole African Native American thing?
Your phone go out?
Oh no, did it? Yes. Okay.
Okay.
We faded out for a moment. Yeah, the difference or the African versus Native American.
Okay. When you look at this situation, you look at this land, you have to start looking at the science, and you have to be able to look at the contracts. The contracts I talk about is one is that Constitution. That Constitution said that all men are endowed by their creator. The question is, who is your creator? Second thing is that you got to go to that Quran and that holy book. And that holy book, which both of them are both holy books, and you read them, they're just trust agreements. The trust agreement was that the Father that's in heaven that rained down on us and made that true man, which is in 2 and 10, that true man from the dust, and you got another species that was made before that, which was 126. There's 126, which was that female and male. When that female and male could not do what they could do, that man that could till that ground was made. That one that was worthy, and then Mother Earth was made from his rib, which is called the woman. So these two people, or two men and women, or fees, you will say. So the woman is the backbone of that man. The whole objective is that we have to now look at the land. And then once we start looking at the land, we're going to look at, okay, people said that we were in slavery. The question is, let's look at the science. You know, when I look and I lay in the bed at a hospital, I can get a bed sore within 2 days. So the whole question is that, wait a minute, you're telling me I was in draws, I was about 500 in a wooden, what you call it, boat, and rocking for 90 days, 60 days, what have you, whatever you want to say, and you had a whole bunch of water and food to feed me, and, you know, we all have a bodily function, and you just imagine that they wasn't taking us to use the restroom, and everybody was using the restroom on each other, and then everybody now are sitting down this wood and rocking real hard, because if you've ever been in a rowboat, you sway hard.
Yeah.
And you get sick, you throw up, and all this stuff happens, and then that whole bowl is going to be filled up halfway by the end of the week of feces, blood, or whatever, because, you know, the woman has her functions, a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so by that week, the whole meat at the bottom, or the cattle or the chattel that they call us,
yep,
will be dead. It'll be spoiled meat. And guess what? We didn't have lights back in the day where we just turn it on. We had kerosene lamps. And when you know when certain things mix together, ammonia and feces and you know all that stuff,
it could be an explosion.
Gas. And you walk down there, you're going to get a kablooey, and you ain't going to have no cattle to trade. So that doesn't make sense scientifically. So now when I come back to this land, I start to look at the people that represent the land, that looks like the land. See, we breathe from the tree. The tree is what? Carbon monoxide and oxygen. They do the same function. So the question is, the melanin man, which was made from the dust, the copper-colored man, that man is that man that the book is talking about. Because that tree and that man has something in common. So you know that this is that man's land. And when you look at Egypt and you look at the slaves at the time, you see that the African heads, the same heads they had as the Egyptian pharaohs. And if you look at the slaves at the time, it is proven that it was the so-called Negro of things that we don't know and we've been told a lie to. And then when we go into these courtrooms, we can continue to ask you, who are you? You say, I'm black. The question is, what is black? What is an African American? The question is, no, you are native. You think about it. You got watch Seminole, Yamasees, all these are our family. They say, well, I got part of that. You cannot have a piece of nothing. You are proven scientifically. And the whole idea, you need to come to, because we all are connected. You know, the Chinese grandchildren. We have to know now what's the truth. The truth, so we can be free. And children need to stop dying on together as a family. Look at the science, look at the contract. Father has already laid out for us. Now have to know how to use them and the people with the etiquette. It's not about the gun. It is about the pen.
Right. So you that just the fact that we are calling ourselves black, we're taking our power away from ourselves. He's saying that
exactly.
Most of us were here. We were the ones that the land was.
Well, you know, history of America, and the Indians said it clearly when the Europeans came and started to talk about they discovered America. But the Indian told the European, the dark-skinned ones, those type of things. So, I mean, the Europeans basically occupied.
You know what happened? You know what happened? See, we have to, that term, so-called aliens. You gotta look at an act of 1792 when our families gave them these states into the Constitution. And it says if they don't take that, they break that oath. Because mind you, if you break that oath, it's called capital felony treason. And it's found. We're not into doing that, but when we're into understanding that people. So based upon that, we own all the mineral rights because it's in our skin.
Right.
We are the asset, and based upon that, we all need to come together. We all need to understand our rights. We all need to understand what we need to do and what they want. If the people want to do what they want, you know, the whole objective is the only thing that people can do is defend themselves.
Exactly.
So the whole objective is that I want to make sure that the people believe in a lie. Let's read this for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start researching so that you understand. Don't believe me, read it for yourself.
And
because
you know,
the book tells heaven.
and you know that is so true that especially in the black, you know, because we believe tell us opposed to doing fine and
every way.
And that's the biggest problem. But Brother Bay, I want to get your. We've been talking about this translation to where they're allowing men to go into women's bathroom and women to go in, which could be for our young people, which it is. That in there because we've had a situation where there was a guy who posed as a woman and went into the bathroom and assaulted a school-age girl. What are your thoughts on this law that Obama has stated already that rooms that the nations that these transgender should be comfortable bathrooms when they're not men and when they're not young women? What do you think about that?
Okay. Mind you, my background is with juvenile sex offenders and with abused children, domestic violence situations. So when we talk about the transgender and what's going on with them mentally, I look at it like this. We, the people in this United States, in order to form a more perfect union. It didn't say Obama, it said we, the people, okay? First and foremost, the Native American people, the Chickasaw, the Washita, the Blackfoot, the Seminole, the Yamasees, and everyone that falls under those corporate names as far as the Federation, the federal name. That means that we have right to usage through those names because it's a trademark, because it's our family's name, because we are the beneficiaries. Mm-hmm. The beneficiaries does not know their position in the contract, so all this stuff is going on is because the people are not standing up truly and knowing how to remove these things. The whole objective is this. First and foremost, if we do remove these things, we need to make sure that we have proper counseling for all the people that are going through these things that are going through. Mm-hmm. Because why? The kids believe that this is a place that they can do what they want to do because it's called a learned behavior. The parents taught them this. So now the older people have to take responsibility for what they have done, and we all have to take responsibility individually so that now we can start treating the trauma versus throwing stones at the trauma and making it worse.
I do too.
See, we have let it go so far, and we have allowed people to do it for us when we need to do it ourselves. And we need to be united as a people because we are that copper-colored people. We are from the covenant of the salt. We are from that dust. And we can form a more. Yes.
I'm sorry, but this is something we're going to have to take care of anyway if we're going to create the world that we keep talking about, where we're independent. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and that, you know, we were saying that I was saying earlier that I spoke to some young people, and they feel that what's happening now with the lack of economics, the killings, the all the laws being changed for the gay community, they feel that this in their mind has been conditioned that this is normal.
No, but we have to trump
that. But we have to do that.
Exactly.
Mind you, we have made it to be normal. Do you know?
We've allowed it to happen.
We have said that it's okay to do that. It's okay to do this.
Yeah,
it is not okay.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not okay. We have to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, like I said, when I was coming up, you know, I grew up on a farm and picked and chopped cotton, man. And our parents taught us, you know, how things should be in life. You know, they taught us about to be self-sufficient, to start your own business. Because I started my own business when I was 17, a restaurant in Iowa. And so that's how I've raised my children under the same type of leadership that I was raised. But, you know, as well as I do.
But they had an agenda that was completely against that. So they started throwing stuff at us. Go ahead, sir.
Let me say this. Only problem with the old way of thinking is that a lot of the older people don't know the truth. And they're listening to his story.
Wow.
And they can tell his story better than they can tell their story.
Exactly.
If you don't know thyself, it's hard to even tell your children how to operate, because our children only knows one language. They don't understand the Constitution. They don't understand how to operate in commerce. They don't understand the civics or the economics that follows. It's just so many things that our children are lacking, and it's because that we didn't teach them.
And
so now we have to take responsibility and set up programs, unite everybody, all these churches to the truth, and fix it.
Right.
And you know, that made a difference, really, because I was taught those things as a young man. But my grandmother.
Again, but stuff got in the way.
Right. But
and that was implanted, this whole society.
But you know what? I had a rude awakening. Being from the South, we was taught about the Indians. We was taught about Africans. I mean, we was taught about how we got to this country. But I had a real rude awakening to my blackness when I moved to the city. And then I started to learn the values, all the contributions that we made. That really turned me into a different person, because I knew about myself and I knew where I came from. And I have to agree with you. That's the type of teaching that the Black community needs to get back to.
Right. Let me stop you right there.
Go
now,
ahead.
We at the beginning of this conversation, we talked about our mindset, where we are, how we think, what we think of ourselves, our history, and we talked about we're not being stock that was imprinted. We are naturally here, and you just said again where you came from. So it's something that it's going to take a minute to get it out of our system.
It's a conditioning.
But it was a good example.
It's a habit.
Yes.
It's a habit.
Yes.
It's a habit.
And that's programming. That's
okay, let me tell y'all this, because you one heart, one mind, one spirit. Let me tell you, mind you, I'm younger. I'm about 34 years old. Okay, and I'm that fourth or fifth generation. So when I say something and I say the truth and you convert back, I understand the psychosocial mind, right? And I understand it's a time to get processed, right? But the youth don't understand that, because they believe you say you're going to do something, you better do it. So
they also are instant too. They
want it right now.
Yeah, McDonald's. Yeah, they got to have it now.
Saying? And so we need to now get back to teaching them empathy, and teaching them true empathy, and also teach them how to be harmless as a dove but wise as a serpent.
Yeah.
And that's what's important, because our children are falling behind from the lack of knowledge, and the teaching that's being taught is not the truth, because everybody's in a debate, but they don't know the law. So that's confusing to me. So how do you know history if you haven't read a treaty? How do you know history if you don't understand the Constitution? You can't tell me where you came from, because you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. I have to agree with you 100% there, man. But that's what we have to try to do right now.
We don't try anymore.
We have to. It's a must. It's a must that we do this, because our community is probably the most profitable community for all the other races on the face of this planet.
Yeah.
Growing up in Inglewood, when I first was in Inglewood, it was predominantly white. Then more Black people came in. We had Black businesses. The schools were being taught African American studies. I mean, all the things that needed to be in the community, we were self-contained. There were grocery stores. I mean, everything was ran by Black people. Then all of a sudden, it was a total shift. We got political leaders in there, man, who sold out the communities, man. They started to let other races come into our community, owning our stores. And
stuff.
I mean,
but the leaders that brought this information, now you must examine it carefully, because now, as the Native Americans of this land, the true copper-colored people that come from the dust, you have with the trees. Based upon a original land person, you are that man that tills the earth. Mind you, you are that Moor. That Moor means the tiller of the ground. And if you look at the woman, she is what? Mother Earth. And if you till Mother Earth, what happens? Her fruit will bear. We are the Native Americans, because that's what the beneficiary contract says, that's in the gives you a benefit. So that's why when you say you are black, you said you are chattel. When you say you white, you say you Chinese, you say you chattel. You say you chattel. When you say you Native American, you are the owner.
Explain, which is a lot of people might not know what that means.
The chattel means is that in commerce, they created a system of banking. And what they did is that they asked you who you were. And if you look in the Bible, it talks about a male that was mixed, right? But if you go in 2 and 10, it tells you that those people were not worthy. And those people that were not worthy, that's why he made a man, that man that was from the what? That's, see what is that it's called trans. All these we've been watching, everything has been interchanged. So the whole objective now you have to know, okay, when I read the Constitution, read the law books, and it talks about people who are the okay, these people, and when are European, look at King Henry, melanated man. He was Cherokee. So what's going on is that this word chattel was used to certain and were called he on the book. So when you put yourself as the female and male that was heathens in the book, that the book, remember like in the days of Noah, he flooded the world because we intermingled with them and the sons of God. We were not supposed to mingle with them. We were supposed to be separate. And so when we did those things, he flooded the earth. Look at all the national disasters now. Everything is going like the days of Noah. And when our people wake up, it may be at their neck. So this is what we're trying to prevent. We just need everybody to know their position in this contract and understand chattel means that you're owned by something. Go look it up.
Exactly. That's what it means.
It's in the UCC code.
Yep. That's what it means because it's in the Constitution that the black man was not a total man and that he was property and he was considered chattel, just like the horses, the cows, the chickens, and all those type of things. And so that's why the Constitution, it should be done away with. I mean,
no. Listen, let me tell you. The Constitution is only the 10 amendments. That 14th Amendment citizen that they created is not real. That 14th Amendment citizen is them. Go read the Nationalization Act of 1792. You will see that they say free white aliens got citizenship here, and they had to be upstanding citizens, and they had to take an oath to the Constitution. 2 Native American copper-colored people had to shake their hand to make them a whole person because they were the 3/5 of a person.
That reminds me of everything is just the opposite as it really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
You see, it's a trick. See, after the 10 amendments, it's not the last amendment talks about all the power is invested in the people. Why would you go any further?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Why would you go any further? That's just common sense, but common sense ain't what? Common.
Yep, exactly. You know, and that boy, you dropping some knowledge out here today to our listeners, man.
Man, what was it, like 3, 4 when we finished that?
Yeah. But you know, what you're talking about is what's needed in our community. Our people,
what's
adults,
needed is action.
That's
yes,
key.
we need true action. Yeah. We need everybody to step out the way that think their cup is so full we can't put nothing in it. Yeah. We are supposed to be servants of the people. And every day of blood hit the ground, I hurt. My stomach hurt. I'm sick. It's like, how can our people allow our people blood to cry to the heavens and the ethers, and we so connected, but we can't do nothing about it? That's a lie in hell.
And man,
we don't get it done.
And you know, it's going to take a cleansing.
Yes.
It's going to take that type of cleansing in the black community because we have so many black leaders and preachers who have become part of the problem because they won't stand up for the community.
I say we kind of move away from even paying them any attention, you know, because they're going to do what they're going to do. And every single person is on their own path, you know.
Well, I tell you this. educate the people, and the people know their position as beneficiaries, they're going to start walking to their pastor and say, what benefits are you giving me? Because in ecclesiastic law, you're supposed to provide me sanctuary.
Exactly.
You're supposed to make sure my home is not being taken. You're supposed to make sure that my children are not being stolen, because I'm a member of your church. I'm under the Father, and you're supposed to protect me. So when the people learn their position and they start asking questions, you're gonna get.
But you see how things have totally changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's been flip-flop, because now you're talking about the people taking care of the preachers.
Mm-hmm. Let me just say that my battery was on like 15%, and I guess it just got a little bit.
It just went out. Yeah, I know, but we was getting some knowledge. But everything.
Oh, he'll be here in Chicago. We're actually booking him for a tour.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Everything have totally changed now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he said about the preachers and the churches being the hub in the community, it kind of used to be like that. Good pastors.
But look, we've been talking about this stuff for the longest, right?
So we got to take action.
Exactly. So instead of even giving them all that glory, because every time we talk about it, we're giving them our energy.
True.
Every single time. So take that energy and put it into progress. Something to close that gap. And that's what we're doing now.
Well, we got to talk about some solutions to these problems, and then implement.
Well, when you get in action, the solution comes.
Exactly.
That's what the interference, another part of all this interference is, because you're too busy moving and doing, you can't even stop long enough to hear what is trying to be delivered to you. So.
Well, the message is to us is that we have to become self-sufficient, and we have to continue to unify ourselves, and quite naturally, we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yes, we do. And if by chance, because like when people come to violate your home, they don't always look like people that are coming to violate your home.
No. No.
And we are dealing with principalities now.
Yes.
So there's disguise everywhere. So if something is just pulling at you in a direction you don't want to go, it's okay to cut it off.
But you know what? That's the mind conditioning that has been portrayed in our community, is that you have to accept
so many rules.
Right.
You got to follow the rules. No, make your own rules and make sure you feel good and don't harm others.
Well, you know what, Cherry, it's going to be a little bit hard to make that regression, because
you're talking to me.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because
I know.
And I'm not promoting violence, but
at all.
Everything that we just discussed is going to have to be taken back. White society is not going to roll over.
Conversation too.
White society is.
If we have so much momentum going in our favor, the fight, we should make the fight for them. Don't make the fight for us.
Right.
Just build and make it strong and positive on our end. Give them something to fight against.
Well, that's the thing, because
you're back on.
That's the thing, because our mind is, a lot of our people's mind is so conditioned to the fact that that we can't do things, that we don't have this, and we're not God's people who was first. Yes. They have totally wiped us out. I read let me say this, that says, you strip a person of their identity, their language, they don't know who they are anymore. So that's what has happened to us.
That's called genocide.
As Black people, as
our people.
Wow, and we volunteer, we help.
Yeah, we do.
We'll fight you for it. We'll fight you for it. We will fight you to kill ourselves.
But you know what? I want to say this, and today is Malcolm X's birthday.
When you know it.
Wow.
And I love him.
And it's
absolutely love him.
And it's not like, white society is intelligent, because they gave.
What is it? We are too.
Yeah, we are super intelligent, but because we don't have our identity intact like we should, they're overshadowing us with their violence and the mindset of we're not strong and we're not the original man. And so they continue to put leaders out. And I don't have nothing against Martin Luther King.
Again,
nothing
if we even just eradicated the whole thing of it, do we need a leader? Just be your own leader and follow the conscious guide.
But that's what white society has put on the mindset of like that.
Okay, see, this is what we got to do. We got to know thyself. You know, when people talk about Islam, they don't understand Islam means peace. And then also it means I, self, law, and master. We have to take responsibility for ourselves in our homes. We got to take responsibility for our name. We have to understand how to operate in the public and private. We have to understand how to deal with these so-called trustees that are in our land talking to us any kind of way and knowing how to deal with them with an etiquette. And if they continue to infringe, they need to be evicted. If you're not living by love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice, you should not be here. See, that's what we want to make sure that we establish peace on this land to where we can have order, but only what we're going to do is with education, but we got to treat the trauma first.
And understand it. We have to know it so it never happens again.
A lot of processing has to be done, just like we're doing right now on the show. We just process. We just realize that why in the heck would I go any further if the last amendment said that I got all the power and invested in me because the Father gave it to me. Why would I give it to another man? That's another way of the trick of the enemy based on we reject knowledge and we perish from the lack thereof. So we truly asking questions and stop just taking people's word for it and go research it for yourself.
Yeah, because that one thing alone destroys, it kills who you are.
Well, you know what? And that's the mindset. And saying that, we got to go to break right quick. So, you know, just keep that thought, man.
Give us your information, your contact information.
Okay, you know.
You got an email?
Yes, it is tribalnationsunited.org. Tribal.org. That's a website everyone can go on. It has a 1-800 number. We're helping our Native American people with their issues and helping them deal with the trauma to where we can start perfecting things to where they don't have to be alone, to where they can get some support. And we're getting all the community together because why? It's our responsibility. United.org.
Okay, and you're in Detroit now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll make sure that they come back to give a talk.
And Brother Bay, I'm gonna get your number and give you a call when we're off this set because I have a whole lot of people in Detroit. As a matter of fact,
you guys are perfect, man.
Yeah, I got.
We'll be at Birch Place tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so
everybody want to know we'll be there at 6 o'clock, Birch Place, downtown.
Well, I want to get to my folks out there, the Lowrys in Detroit. You might even know some of them, but we are a huge family across this country, and I want to hook you in with some of our people because the way you think is how we think. You know, our family is having a big reunion, and that's what we've been dialoguing about, how as a family, how we can work together and create economics and take our communities back for our family's sake. So when you're on, man, I'll get your number and I'll look it on this evening. God bless you, bro.
Peace and love. God bless you too.
And you're listening to Intellectual Radio break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish out the show. IntellectualRadio.com. The show is Let the Truth Be Told. Let the Truth Be Told. It'll move your soul.
Come on. JD on the track. Your boy Preacher. Yeah. True. Come on. Hey. True. Hey. True. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Yeah, I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Come on. I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me. And I know that you care for me. You're always down for me. You're always there to get me. You quenched my thirst when I was thirsty. I feel like Lord, please have mercy. Man, homie, when I'm feeling lonely, cause it's the truth that's shaping moment. Truth be told, cause I'm married to it. If it ain't the truth, man, I don't wanna do it. Real love, be official. It bear forgiveness and it be sacrificial. I'm married to truth. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Yeah, I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Come on. I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me. Yeah, for me. And I know that you care for me. Care for me. You're always down for me. Down for me. You're always there to give me up. Just steer me back when I'm talking reckless. Because of times when I'm being tested. Man, I'm glad that I'm vested. Without your love, I feel so negative. Without the truth, I feel neglected. At the time when things get hectic, you give me your best, and I feel protected. Back in your arms, that's where I'm headed. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Yeah, I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr. And the show is Let the Truth Be Told.
Baby.
Wow, you know what? That was a great guess. It was interesting, but that's history and knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Knowledge is the most important part.
It's the most powerful thing that a person can have. Yeah. And it's the most feared thing by this government, society of black men.
Let me just say something. So
go ahead.
That whole language, the whole thing you just said. So we're thinking, we were going to change the way we think. Let's really do it, because we are really creating eternity right now. We are the ones that were seated here to create what's real forever.
Exactly.
Okay. So we were talking about the good, and then you said, well, that's what this government. Okay, forget about them. Let's just stay.
What we do.
Let's get it done.
Yep, that's true. Now we're gonna shift gears because we got some other things to talk about.
I missed you too.
I did. I missed you too, Cherry.
Thank you so much for that invitation.
You know what?
I had so much fun. At first, I was kind of ticked off. I was a little upset, but then I let that go, and I just got into the zone, and I was doing. It was interesting, because this whole new thing is new. You know what I'm saying?
And what Cherry's talking about is that
NFL.
When the NFL draft was here, they honored the legends. And one of my closest friends is Donnell Wolford. They also honored different league players who have played in the league, like the USFL, which is the league that I played in. And so I invited Cherry down to the event. And when I got down there, I was unable to get her into the main portion.
See, the new language.
Okay.
Does that matter?
No.
First of all, is it positive?
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Now what you about to say?
But what I'm saying now is that
it was a great time.
Cherry came and she had a ball down there.
That's all that matters.
And we had a good time down there as well.
It was a lot of fun. I met some interesting people.
I had an opportunity to touch bases with a lot of my friends who played in the NFL, guys that was at certain camps that I was at who went on to play in the NFL. So it was really a great time down there, man. And hopefully next year, we're going to do it again, no matter where it's at. I'm going to fly out. If I don't care where it's at, that I want to attend that because it was a great networking opportunity for me and for the foundation itself, because I got in touch with a lot of people with the NFL who now in the community, and they're looking for organizations that are actually out here working with the youth and trying to make a difference, And so that was good. But before we get out of here, man, I got to talk about this presidential race has came down to.
Really?
But I have to say something, man. I really got to say something, man.
Okay.
I'm not understanding.
You're not supposed to.
I'm not understanding our people, man.
Wow.
I'm not really understanding, and I know everything is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
It really is,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm not understanding black people right now. Because if you look at what has happened in the past 8 years, everything in the black community has become 10 times worse than what it was before.
That's another thing. I'm actually glad you said that, because I don't know, if you take maybe one show away a week and focus on something that improves the community somehow, or just improves anything somehow. And if you incorporate that 1 hour that you've taken away from nothing and given to something, more will come to you. Maybe take an idea that pops into your head to the church and let that grow. Because what we're doing right now is why you say because it has to be fixed. It's something we've allowed to sustain this long.
But what baffles me is this.
I gotta love your passion.
No matter what president that's going to be elected, black people need to focus on our communities ourselves. But what I'm seeing is this, Cherry, is that I watch some of the debates. I watch Donald Trump. I watch Hillary Clinton, and the ideology that they're using, it should just put black folks up in arms. Now, I know everybody's saying Donald Trump is this, he's that, he won't get elected, but Donald Trump is being treated like a black man is treated by this system. And let me explain that. He's going out, he's organizing his people. He has turned the Republican Party upside down. They're actually paying tons of money, millions of dollars, to stop him from getting elected. Now, he's following the rules of the Republican convention by getting the votes, the electoral votes needed to be the nominee. But yet, as he does that and he gets closer, they keep changing the rules. And that's how black men and women are treated in this country. Every time we try to conform to a rule and say, okay, well, we're going to make sure that we do it this way.
I know all about that.
Then
all about that.
And then all of a sudden they change it. Yeah.
Go create your own and make that work. Make it work.
But my thought is this, and I'm saying it because to black people, we can see the past 8 years have been horrible for us.
Just 8?
Well, more than that, but it's been intensified when we elected the black president that hasn't done anything for the black. That was really a slap in the face. But now, to know that Hillary Clinton is running for the president of the United States, black people, we're not even looking in the past of what she's been involved in. Her husband created the mass incarceration bill, NAFTA, that stole the businesses out of the black community, the factory, sent all that overseas. I mean, the fact that he created the 3-strike law that incarcerated black men at a rate of like 20 to 1. I mean, all these things.
He just happened to be in place when those steps to implement the overall plan needed to be carried out. He was just in that spot. He was the one to do that. It could have been anybody, but of the plan, what's going on, the next step in the plan that was created long before they got
exactly.
Okay, so
but
what
the thing
we
that
have
I'm
to
saying
do is combat that somehow.
But the thing that I'm saying is,
about it.
The thing that I'm saying is, how do you combat the mindset of black people when they're turning out in droves to put Hillary Clinton in office when she is part of that same process that was followed by Bill Clinton and Barack Obama? I mean, I would say that anytime a politician would say anything to get elected, let me finish, what really was a slap in the face to me was now our sisters and black people, they carry hot sauce. They go to a restaurant. They have hot sauce in their purse and all that kind of stuff. But she is so desperate to get this presidency, and she will say anything, and black people just fall for it. Now, you know well as I do, ain't too many white people walking around with no bottle of hot sauce in their bag. Now, for her to say that And black people, we know she's not doing none of that.
Wait a minute. That was actually said.
Yes.
Are you serious?
She did. She said it.
Stop it. Stop talking this bullshit. Stop it.
And she said that.
Over the top.
Then,
and that's energy that's being generated.
Exactly.
What I'm feeling from you right now, if that was used in what we doing underground, oh my God. You feel me?
Yes.
Giving it to them.
And that's my point. And black people, we're not seeing it. We're not saying it that she's going to say and do anything.
I don't give a damn about her no more. I'm serious. All I'm about is fixing our problems.
But the thing of it is because people are so brainwashed.
Snap out of it. Be a conscious thinker. Pay attention to what you're thinking about.
But just to say that, man, it was like, okay, she and
over the top. Lord, I'm glad I didn't hear that.
I was offended by that. And it's like,
that was the intent.
Exactly.
To offend
exactly.
You. And make you spend all that energy.
But you know what? It also, by her trying to associate herself to
the
black people, this was about a couple of months ago.
Wow.
You know, she's trying to associate herself like, oh, well, y'all black people need to vote for me.
Y'all wasting y'all votes on this. No. Oh my goodness, I'm so upset you even told me that.
And you know what? And black people fell for it.
Oh my goodness, what a waste.
And there's so much stuff that she's doing right now and saying anything that can associate her with the black community. Or
saying anything to send us off.
Send us off, but a lot of people are associating with like, yeah, she's our European sister. She gonna do right by us when she get to Washington.
Every time they piss you off like that, you should consciously, let me find a way to just get them out of this picture. Let me find a way to just, erase all of this madness.
But that's black folks. Don't buy it. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones.
And don't call yourself black anymore. Native, I don't know.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. Because
we're gonna come back to that one. We're gonna come back.
And she naturally said she's gonna keep going that Barack Obama has kept going, and we have to say
I'm gonna make my own Kool-Aid.
Yeah. But nevertheless, we gotta wrap it up. It's been fun.
It's a whole lot better than what y'all been drinking.
It's been fun, but I got a couple of announcements. If you're gonna be out and about, I'm sending an open invitation to people who like football. The GFL, the Gladiator Football League, is having a football game. I think it's the Chicago Eagles and another team from Carolina that's coming to play. Those who want to come to see a good football game or read a football game, I will be the sports commentator on Saturday night, calling the game. We'll be at Serpico Field. Yeah, I'm gonna be calling the game, baby. We're gonna be at Serpico Field at 900 North 25th Street in Melrose Park. The kickoff is at 8 o'clock. I ask people to come in there early. If you want to come, bring your children, bring the family out to the game. Just say you heard it on Intellectual Radio. Mention my name, David Lowry, and your tickets will be free. You can come into the game and enjoy the game. It's a good family outing starting at 7:30 on Saturday evening. So if you've got nothing to do, come on by. The last thing I want to say, the Living and Driving While Black Foundation had an opportunity to do a great kind of documentary with NBC. They went out and they got a lot of numbers from the DOT. They know our organization has been in the forefront dealing with racial profiling and other forms of discrimination, and we've been writing bills trying to help our communities at least have some type of protection. And so NBC will be airing that show. We'll be putting it out there so people can watch and feed your brain on what we actually said. It was a panel of people that came from our organization: Ernesto Burgess, W.L. Lillard. I had a young man named Giovanni who was a part of the Black Panther organization, and my homeboy Carlos Massey, who is a strong activist fighting cases for the black community. So, check us out. Go out, check us on the website, www.livingdrivingwhileblack.net. Go to the website, and get some knowledge about what we're doing as a foundation so that we can help you. And lastly, coming up, and Cherry's going to be a part of this.
Well, we're gonna be a part of a lot of things this summer. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a very exciting summer.
We're finna host and we're finna kick off a whole new talk show.
Yeah.
We're going to Star Planet Television. You can go check out starplanet.com. That's going to be a new.
Oh, shout out to Coco in New York. I got you.
That's going to be a new talk show on Star Planet called "Let the Truth Be Told." And myself, Cherry, my other host, Miss Kim, who's been on this show with us. We're going to really put it out there, and we want people to listen in and look at the show and make this probably one of the best informational shows that's out there, because that's what we're doing here at Intellectual Radio. We're trying to feed the brains of Black people, not just Black people, but anybody that listens to these shows on this radio station can find out more about what's going on in the Black community than any other station there is. So, tune in to us every Thursday, 1:30, IntellectualRadio.com. Let's Truth Be Told, and listen to all our other shows. We got a great format, and we look forward to listeners getting informed to do what we need to do.
Think consciously.
So your last word.
One of my next shows.
Your last word, Sherry.
Think consciously.
Know
what you're thinking about.
My last words is, the only way that we can make a difference and we can make change in our community is that we have to become self-sufficient. We have to think out of the box. We can no longer think as a group that's been going on, that's been a degradation of our community. So read for yourself, to show yourself approved, and get together and help somebody that look like you. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr. The show is Let's Truth Be Told. Let's Truth Be Told. It'll move your soul.
Don't let them bring you down.
We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Go out, reach out, and help somebody. God bless you, and peace.
You're always there for me, and I know that you care for me. You're always down for me, you're always there.